3k6 max. That's it. That's the intro.
Alright guys, hope you like my super quick intro as we go straight into the 3k6 max. I love this tournament, starting with 40,000 chips, which is good for 200 big blinds here in level 1. I actually made day 2 last year, finishing in the top 50 or so, hoping to go even better this year. Off to a surreal start today when I drag in the first pot of the day here with Jack 10, while the national anthem plays in the background.
Jack of hearts. Can anyone beat it?
Whenever they hand out a bracelet for the winner of the previous day's tournament, they play the national anthem of that country. It's standard procedure. Unfortunately for us, it's not going to fall on a break in our tournament, so we got to listen to it while we're playing here. Stack up to 44.4k after that hand, and it grows a little more when I look down at pocket aces a little while later. I win a few extra big blinds here, nothing to shout home about, but hoping it'll grow even more when I pick up pocket kings 5 minutes later. We've got a very soft table today, and in this hand, middle position limps in for 300 chips. I raise it on up to 1300 in the cutoff. Both the blinds call and the limper calls as well. We go 4 ways to 953 rainbow. Safe enough flop here for my pocket kings. I bet out for 2500 chips. The big blind is going to make the call and everyone else folds. We see another 3 hit the turn, and I can kind of tell that he's just check folding here, but I do have to try and build the pot somehow, so I bet again for 7k, and sure enough he does just fold. This is going to send me up to 52k now from that 40k starting stack. Doing really well so far, and next up I'm on the button with ace jack offsuit. I raise it on up to 900 chips. The small blind makes the call. He's a non-pro, I'm pretty sure, and the big blind folds. We go heads up to the flop. Jack 10-9 rainbow. Top pair, top kicker, but not the safest top pair, top kicker of all time. Still though, I bet out for 800 chips just to kind of see where I'm at, and the small blind is gonna make the call. Feeling good when he calls. He raises a lot of better hands here on the flop. Don't love that 10 of clubs on the turn though to pair the board. My opponent checks to me, and I decide to just take a free card here, and what a free card it is. It's another jack, top boat, and what's more, my opponent is reaching for chips here. He bets out for 1500. Easy raise for me, of course. I fake tank for a little while before making it 7.1k to go. The small blind grimaces. I know it's not a chop now. Tough to get called by worse here, but somehow he does make the call with worse. I show my hand, and he actually shows me 8-7 suited. A really ambitious call here from him on the river, but what a nice runner full house to send me up to 62.8k after just 25 minutes of sitting down. Only one hand of note in level 4 here, not really that interesting. Let's skip it and head out for our first break of the day.
Alright, off to a very good start here. We have 82.2k on break after 4 levels. We've got a very fun table. Everyone's laughing and joking, which is good to see. But yeah, let's just keep going. 2x starting is always a good start. Let's keep that going and win the 3k6 max.
Alright, coming back into a 300, 600 blind level with a 600 big blind ante. I've got many big blinds here. I'm in a pretty soft table, and I'm endeavoring to play as well as I can today. Let's get to work. First hand of note in level 5 comes soon enough. I'm in the big blind with ace-6 offsuit. The cutoff is raised to 1300 chips, and I decide to defend. We go heads up to the flop. It is 9-6-5 with 2 hearts. I don't think we ever lead out on this specific flop versus the cutoff. The cutoff has got all the nutted hands as well. So I just check, and the cutoff is going to throw out a c-bet here for 1300 chips. I can't go anywhere just yet here with second pair. I go ahead and make the call. The turn is an offsuit 4. Again, tempting to lead, but we raise so many of our nutted hands on the flop. So yeah, we've got some turn 2 pair type hands, but we lack any real nutted hands because a lot of them raise on the flop. So I just check it on over to the cutoff, and he barrels again, this time for 3.5k. Now, the way he bets there, I think he is super weak. He's a solid tag Asian player who's played really well so far today, but given the way he's bet, I just feel like he's weak here. He's looked at the dealer, he's leaned in, he said 3500. It just feels like weakness for me. Even without this read, I'm pretty sure we have to just go ahead and call here, so I make the call. To the river we go. It's an offsuit 10. Hearts miss, and he's going to bluff so many hands like queen 7 of diamonds, king 8 of clubs here, etc. on the river, so I'm certainly considering check calling. The bet comes in though, and it's 14k. Very big bet here. On the one hand, I'm reading this turn bet as really weak, and nothing really improves here on the river apart from like king 10 of hearts type hands, but they're not going to bet that big. On the other hand though, this is a 14k chip bet in level 5 of day 1 of an MTT. it's probably going to be value. I want to go with my read here and call so badly, but instead I be disciplined and I just let it go. A few hours from now when our table breaks, he's going to tell me that he quote unquote got there, but that he had pocket fives. Pocket fives didn't get there. It was already there waiting for me. So I'm not sure if I believe him or not, but I guess it doesn't matter. We'll never know. I fold my hand here and we just move on. 6-max tournaments are super fast, so there's no time to count my stack before we're in action again, this time in level 6. A different tag Asian reg is raised in the hijack to 1800 chips. I'm in the big blind with ace-8 offsuit. Again, a hand that can 3-bet sometimes, but I decide to just call this time. We go heads up to the flop, a decent enough ace-9-7 rainbow. My opponent bets out for 1200 chips. Easy call for me, of course, not doing anything else here. The turn is the 10 of spades. I've got an open-ended straight draw to go with my top pair, and he's going to bet again, this time for 3.5k. Again, nothing else for us to do here other than check call. A very nice looking ace rolls off on the river to give me 3 of a kind. I check again and my opponent bets again pretty quickly. He bets 12k into a pot of just over 14k. I think we just always call here. He's got a lot of hands like king queen, king jack, queen jack, king 8, low spades that can take this line. I have so many hands like 9-8 offsuit, 10-8 suited type hands that I have to call flop, call turn and fold river. So I think 3 of a kind is a pretty mandatory call. I go ahead and make the call. Unfortunately though, he's got me beat. I lose this hand to ace-9 offsuit. This is the first hit to my stack all day today, but I think it's just a cooler. I don't think we can consider folding here on the river. This sends me down to 62.5k, still absolute chunks. I'm not worried at all. Next up here in level 7, I'm on the button with jack-9 offsuit. It folds all the way around to me and I raise it on up to 2300 chips. The big blind is the tag Asian reg from the last hand. He makes the call. We go heads up to the flop, which is king-9 deuce with 2 spades. Not a bad start here with second pair and some nice backdoor draws. It's also a relatively strong second pair, so I decide to c-bet here. I bet 2k chips. Fairly quickly, the big blind is going to put in the check raise to 6.1k. Didn't really expect that and don't love it, but I've got second pair, backdoor draws. I go ahead and make the call. We see a very bricky offsuit 4 hit the turn, and now the big blind decides to check. I'm a little bit scared of the double check raise and having to fold on the turn here, so I just check it back, and we see the 5 of spades roll off on the river. Flush gets there, and now my opponent bets again, this time for 8.5k. Kinda gross now. On the face of it, yeah, we've got a spade blocker, but I think our hand actually blocks a lot of bluffs that can take this line. Hands like queen jack offsuit with a spade, jack 10 offsuit with a spade. These are the types of hands that he likes to bluff with this line here. I honestly just think he's got a 4x of spades type hand so often with this line that's going to check raise the flop, turn a pair, check it, and then value bet the river. So I make a very disciplined fold here with my second pair. If it looks like 4x of spades and it smells like 4x of spades, it was probably 4x of spades. This is going to send me back down to 50.8k. Still a decent start. I can't complain at all. And look at this turnout. This 6-max tournament is great fun. I love playing them. Everyone is here to battle and get wired in and play a bunch of hands. I went from 40k starting to 80k after 4 levels, and now all the way back down to starting stack. Gotta love the roller coaster. Morale is still high here though as I head out for break number 2 of the day.
Alright, we have 41k on break. Tough couple of hours. I come in with about 82, and now we've got 41, which is not ideal, but couldn't make any hands. Hung on in there. Didn't spew, didn't tilt. Focused as best I could. And we're left with 41, but it's coming back to 1,500 big blinds. So we still got chunks. It's all good. Yeah, let's just keep going, see if we can win some money. All
right, back in we go here in level 9. And what a wild level we've got in store here. First hand of note, I'm in the small blind with king 7 of clubs. A non-pro raises on the button. I make the call out the small blind, and the big blind calls as well. The flop is queen jack 7 with 1 club. Feels like I have to call here versus the small c-bet from the button. And I just check fold on the brick turn. Too many backdoors to consider folding the flop there, but just folding with the pair of 7s on the turn. Next up, under the gun is raised pre-flop. I'm on the button with ace-10 offsuit. Can 3-bet this sometimes, but decide to just call. The big blind calls as well. We go 3 ways to queen 9-9, and I end up just folding on a brick turn. Surely after those last couple of hands, we're going to win here with this ace-8 of spades in middle position. I raise it on up, and obviously I get 3-bet out of position. Again, big sigh as I make another standard disciplined fold. All these hands happening in the first 12 minutes of the level. level. Really sucks, but now we're down to 26k. Morale is still high though. We're not worried. We can play this stack just fine. Morale going to get a little higher when I look down at pocket jacks and the big blind. The hijack is raised to 3k. The button makes the call. The small blind makes the call, and I am happily shoving it in for around 25k. Hijack reshoves, which is great for me. Means lots of dead money in there. Sure enough, the button and the small blind get out the way. The hijack has got pocket sixes, getting it in really good here, and the flop is jack high, which virtually kills my opponent. Nice double up here. It's actually more than a double up to undo all those misses over the last few hands. No time to even count my chips though, because in the very next hand I'm in the small blind with ace queen offsuit. There's been an open to 3k and 2 calls again before it gets to me. I've got like 55k or so. It's a bit of a big shove here, but I decide to just go ahead and stick it in. So much free money that I can pick up out there, and this time everyone is gonna fold. 2 for 2 in the last 2 hands, but no time to get a chip count, because again in the very next hand I'm on the button with ace queen offsuit. I raise it on up to 3500 after it folds to me. The small blind gets out the way, and the big blind puts in the re-raise to 11k. He's got about 40k ish behind here. I think we just have to go ahead and shove this in. I move all in for the third time in 3 hands, and again he just folds. What a heater we're on here. But once again, no time to count my chips, because I've got pocket 10s in the very next hand. Middle position raises to 3k, and now we're too deep to shove here. I can finally play a non-all-in 3-bet size. I make it 10k to go. Middle position is a German fella, very nice guy. He goes ahead and makes the call. We go heads up to queen 9-6 with 2 diamonds. I decide to play my hand here and not my range, so when he checks to me, I decide to just check it on back. The turn is an offsuit 4. My opponent checks again, and I think now we should bet something. A bit of value, a bit of protection. Good spot to just bet like 40% exploitatively. I did decide in game to check it back. I don't think it's a disaster, but I think I prefer a bet here in hindsight. The river is the 7 of diamonds. Front door flush gets there, and now my opponent reaches for chips. He loads the gun to the tune of 14.5k. Don't love it one bit, but I think this is a pretty mandatory call here. We've checked back twice. He could be just trying to steal the pot with a hand like ace jack or something. I doubt he has a queen or a flush that often given his line, but yeah, call. He's got ace king of diamonds. Oh my god, we should have been all in there and losing a huge one on this river. It sucks to lose a pretty big pot here, but like I said, it could have been a lot worse. We probably should have been all in before the flop here. After playing the last 4 hands in a row, I finally pick up a garbage hand and get to fold it and count my stack. I'm up to 57.5k. Really swingy level so far. Absolutely love it. Into level 10 we go here with a big blind at 2k. The cutoff is a new player to our table, and in his very first hand he raises to 6k. I look down at 2 beautiful kings here on the button. He looks really strong with the way he raised, his body language, the fact that he's made it 3x. So I make a pretty quick and pretty large all in here with my pocket kings. You can just tell when someone's strong, and sure enough, he snaps me off. He's got ace jack of spades. This pot is worth around 95k in chips and a very playable stack. Gonna need a big hold here with my pocket kings. You can hear my opponent slamming the table throughout the hand. Very, very strange indeed, but I don't care about that. This is a big hold after a really scary flop, and suddenly I've got a very playable stack here. This is a turbo structure here, 30-minute level, so building a nice stack kind of early is great to sort of keep you away from that danger zone. Here in level 11, they're finally breaking my table after 10 or 11 levels, sending me to the middle of the room. I've been quite lucky to sit there all day on my first table so far. Normally in a 6-max table, you're all over the place playing a bunch of different tables. My new table looks okay-ish. A good LA cash reg that I recognize and a bunch of unknowns. Moving over with 92.5k in my stack. Good for 37 big blinds here in level 11. Unfortunately, disaster is going to strike, and the floor man is going to tell me that I can't record my whole cards. Really gutted, because I love having whole cards in the vlog, but I understand that I'm for sure not going to argue. We're going to have to just improvise as we head into dinner here with a decent stack.
Alright, we are on break with 100,000, very swingy level. Started with 40, bled all the way down at 28, spun it up, spun it back down, and now we finish with exactly 100k. Yeah, wait for dinner for an hour and then we'll come back. Registration is closed. We're in for 1 bullet today. That is a win in my book.
All right, back from dinner we come. 1,230 runners total today, with 185 getting paid. A whopping $500,000 in change for first. Would love to win that. Of course, would love to win the gold bracelet more. Just kidding, of course, it's all about the money for me here. There's 396 left on the clock right now, although that number is never quite accurate just after dinner. I'm in for one bullet today, which feels like a cash given how I've run so far this summer. And our first hand of note after dinner is a bit of a crazy one. The hijack raises to 6k off of about 70k in his stack. The cutoff calls, he's the table chip leader. The button calls, he's also got about 70k or so as well. And I am in the big blind with ace-8 offsuit. I've got around 100k, it's 3k more to me, so I decide to call. I simmed this hand later with my buddies. We call ace-8, but we fold ace-7. Gazzy B finding the exact spots from the big blind. 4 ways we go to the flop. It is ace-8 deuce rainbow. The hijack is going to c-bet here for 6k. The cutoff is going to call, and the button is going to call as well. I have to raise here. I can't call. I have to raise, but everything that I do here, it just looks so strong. I could probably min raise, and these guys are going to start folding hands like ace-jack and ace-queen. I make it 27k to go, and naturally, one by one, they take about 30 seconds and just fold. I get to drag in the pot here, but the table is quizzing me on what I had. Nobody in the history of poker has ever found a bluff here for my size and my line. I've either got ace-8 or pocket deuces always. I still have to raise though. I know I have to raise. There's a nice pot coming my way here, but a bit of a bleed for the next 30 or 40 minutes. Our table is 5-handed, and when you're card dead, playing 5-handed with all the blinds and antes coming around, it all adds up quickly. Next up here in level 13, the button raises to 10k. Big shout out to the button. He max late regged and spun his stack up to piles really quickly. It was really quite impressive. I'm in the big blind here with 10-6 of clubs. I've got 110k to start the hand. I think call 10-6 but fold 10-5 is the play here versus the 2.5x open. So I make the call. We go heads up to the flop. Jack 4-3 with 2 clubs. Decent start here with a flush draw. The button is going to c-bet though for 12k. Pretty big c-bet here into a pot of 26k. I think raise with my queen high, king high, and ace high flush draws that have got an overcard to the board, and also my combo draws. But a hand like this, I'm just always check calling. I go ahead and make the call. The turn is an offsuit 8. I check to my opponent, and now he bets again, this time for 27k. I've got like 86k in my stack at this point. It kind of sucks, but I think we have to just sigh and fold here. Keep our stack intact so that if we get a nice double up spot, we're doubling up for the max. So I go ahead and make the fold. He doesn't show. I'd love to see what the river would have been, but of course, no rabbit hunting in tournaments. 2 hands later, I'm on the button with ace-8 of spades. 21 big blinds to start the hand here. It folds to me, and I raise it on up to 8k. The big blind is a shorty. He's got 51k in his stack, almost 13 big blinds, and he wagers all of those big blinds. I don't love it, but I think it's a pretty mandatory call here with a suited ace on the button. I make the call. He's got ace-10 of diamonds. Gonna need some help here, otherwise I am real short real quick. No suck out for me, not even the chop suck out to get half the pot. I'm suddenly down to 35k. Very next hand, I look down at king 7 of spades in the cutoff. 9 big blinds, pretty standard shove here in my opinion. I move all in. Just before I do that, I pick up the camera and turn it on, which obviously tells the table I'm about to shove. You hear the hijack asking me if that is binding. My response to him is pretty good.
All in.
Make sure on the camera's binding. All in?
No, I balance it. I do balance it.
Nice. Excellent.
35.
All in 35.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Get this for
Floor.
It's close. It was close.
So it folds round to the big blind, and he asked me to record him here as he fake calls with 7-4 offsuit. As much as I love my table mates taking an interest in the camera and asking about the channel and stuff, this is risky banter from the big blind. Some players could ask for that to be binding and call the floor and stuff like that. Fortunately, I'm never that guy. I know it's all in good fun. I'm just also kind of happy to win the blinds as well. But yeah, really risky banter from the big blind. Level 14 comes in with a 5k big blind, and after going through the blinds, I am left with just 32k, waiting for a shovable hand, and I'm going to find it here in the form of ace-jack offsuit in the cutoff. Early position is raised to 10k. I, of course, move all in for my 6.5 big blinds. He doesn't snap call, which is always a good sign. He actually asks for a count, which is a great sign. To be honest, I definitely want the action here after he asks for a count. I know that I'm really far ahead, and sure enough, he does call. He's got king 6 of diamonds. This is a big pot here to get me back up to over 15 big blinds, about 70 or 80 away from the money.
That's it. Good game, guys.
I'll see you on the channel.
Yes, you'll be on it. Good man.
No bueno, unfortunately, with the ace-jack. With 180 players paid today, I finish around 250th, just short of the money. Big sigh. Let's head over to the outro, guys, to see me pretend to be completely fine.
Guys and girls, that's the end of our 3K 6 max. I'm really a bit disappointed, to be honest. I thought I played really well today, just bled down a little bit and then couldn't win with the ace-jack versus king 6. I had a lot of fun. Tournaments are not going well this summer. I'll put some results on screen just now. But I've cashed 1 and I'm in for about 13 or 14 bullets. But it is what it is. I feel like I played really well today, so all I can do is take that into my next tournament, try and play as well as I can in that, play as well as I did today, and I'm sure we'll catch a run soon enough. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in all the way from Vegas. My name's Gazzy B. Until next time, take it easy.